Hi, all my friends out there in YouTube land. Of course, this is Randy the Dancer, back from the holiday. I hope you had a great Halloween and you guys were safe. And I hope you enjoyed all the Halloween bears that I showed you. We're going to be looking at who got the right answers on the little test yesterday on what costumes. And we told you we're going to go back to the Star Wars, but we decided to take a little bit of a break from the Build-A-Bear and go to another segment I like to do, which is called Movie Review, because back when I was working in retail, I was the movie buff. I own over 800 movies, and I'm an avid movie watcher, and I go to movies all the time. So people always ask my opinion on movies, especially when it comes to the comic book universe, since I kind of have a lot of expertise in that area. Been collecting comics for years, and so we're gonna review a movie that I saw recently. It's called Venom. I don't know if any of you guys have seen this movie yet. What your thoughts on it were? I know there was a lot of mixed emotions. Critics were really down on it. There was some good points and bad points. We're gonna kind of go over a few of those today, and you just put your comments down below and tell me what you feel about the movie if you've seen it yet. Maybe this will give you an idea whether or not you want to go see the movie. But hey, we'll go from there. What I do know about this movie, of course, this is a story about Venom's origin. In the movie, we see him come from outer space on a spacecraft that's crashing. They were on an expedition to find new life forms, way to expand human growth and life in space, and be able to help heal people with diseases and stuff. This is kind of the main villain's plot, I guess you could say. He kind of goes crazy halfway through this movie, as you see, and the villain is, of course, other symbiotes that come down with him, and then Venom has to decide whether or not to save the human race with his new counterpart Brock, or to do what they had planned originally and devour another world, as they show in this movie. I do know that Venom, it came out in 1984. Amazing Spider-Man number 252 was the first appearance of him, but he wasn't fully like written about or full story about him until 1988, where it was in Amazing Spider-Man number 300. We do know that Spider-Man did come from space. He was hooked to a spacecraft, and the first person, as any of you may know, that he comes in contact with is Peter Parker, which at the time he didn't know was Spider-Man. The symbiote does bond with its host, and it's for purposes of survival, but also for adaptation. He gives the host more power. He accentuates their own abilities, and lucky for him, he hits Spider-Man. Since he was with Spider-Man such a long time, this was his first merge. He actually takes on all the Spider-Man traits, and even after he is dissected from or bisected from him, he has all the Spider-Man looks and traits. He still has their abilities, even though he attaches to someone else later. In this movie, we have Brock, who is a world-renowned journalist. This is a little far-fetched for me because in the comic book he was kind of aloof. And ironically enough, there was a backstory between him and Peter. So you can see there's this equal hatred for Peter slash Spider-Man. Uh, Brock hating Peter, Spider-Man hating Venom, or Venom hating Spider-Man. And so there was this kind of collaboration between the two of them. Brock had a much stronger presence in the Venom costume than is portrayed in this movie. He's kind of aloof in this movie, even though he's like this powerful journalist. At the same time, Venom really controls the whole thing. The movie feels kind of sluggish in parts because the Venom play against his other counterparts, other symbiotes that came down with him, was a little weak. They make Venom to be more of a comic relief, not so much a strong character as he is in the comic book. He is kind of a secondary character, which is kind of why I thought, why would they do a Venom movie, an origin movie, when they don't have Spider-Man? I mean, this movie would have been so much better with Spider-Man only because Spider-Man is how he started. When you don't have the main character from which you came from in the movie, it kind of takes a lot of free liberties, and in some parts of this movie, it was really lacking and it was weak. So as far as action goes, it was pretty good. I mean, the fight scenes were great. Technology looked pretty good in this, but the movie did seem to go nowhere storyline wise. They had like a girlfriend in this. I don't remember Venom himself. Like Brock probably had a girlfriend in the comic book, but in this movie, they really dragged out the girlfriend aspect of the movie, and I don't feel like it worked well. I thought it was kind of weak. It was They weren't even separated for a long time before she was another boyfriend, which I don't know what his role had to do with anything. It really didn't add to the story. Kind of took away from it, really. So again, just a lot of little plot points that kind of like were really nowhere, really weren't part of the actual comic, and are really unnecessary. But she did have a bigger role in this than I expected her to be. But I just really didn't like her character. As far as Venom goes, I mean, he looked good, but the bottom line is he just didn't portray Venom perfectly. I think I thought he was pretty good, but it just kind of like was too campy and not as serious as I would like him to be. And they also being a PG-13 movie, it was also not quite the full style of Venom and how far he would go. I mean, the best scenes were the fight scenes with the um, SWAT team, but at the same time, it didn't seem to go beyond that. The fight scene at the end with his leader, I thought was a little hokey. It just didn't have the strength I thought it should have, and it almost made Venom feel like not only just an underdog, which is what Brock is kind of, but also made him feel kind of like he was kind of a loser more so than Venom. And I don't see, I mean Brock, I don't see Venom as a big loser. So as far as my review on this, it's okay for entertainment, not really good for accuracy, and max I give it 2 star. It's not the best film of the year. It definitely won't be the blockbuster that they thought it would be, but I mean for entertainment's sake and just for a little, escape away from reality and just a fun movie night, it's okay for action. But the rest of it's just so. Again, my take is a 2 star. If you want to have any other specific reviews, we're thinking about doing more of the Marvel movies because it's going to be the culmination of 11 years of movies next year. So we're going to showcase all the movies, probably do a best to the worst type of scenario, which movies are the best. Leave your comments. Tell us what you would like to hear as far as movie reviews. Okay, and again, just want to ask you how you guys feel about the format being at the longer 5-minute format or the 2-minute format.